Joe JD here, and today we are watching 3 true hotel horror stories that are animated. I mean, we already did a video, but here we are doing another one. We're gonna jump into this whole thing, and we'll see how scary this really is. All right, so we got story 1. Let's go. Uh-oh. There's that music, man. It's letting you know something's about to go down.
People who don't like to stay in hotels. I have heard the most bizarre and delusional criticisms against them, like they don't like to sleep with someone else's energy or that they don't know how clean it is. In my opinion, there is nothing strange about going to a hotel. You are just paying to sleep in a room with clean sheets. I never understood the people until I had my own reasons to start hating them. And believe me, my reasons for hating hotels are really good. And now, I'll tell you about them. It all started on a vacation with my girlfriends.
What do you guys hate about hotels? Let me know in the comments below, because my thing is, like, sometimes the mattresses are just aren't soft enough. You ever get like the hard ones, and you're like, dude, what am I paying for? This bed is super uncomfortable, and then you wake up and your back is hurting, your neck is hurting. I don't know if that's just me, but let me know, because I'm a little curious.
Be honest, I wasn't planning on going on vacation, much less spend a day in a luxury hotel, but the opportunity presented itself. My friends and I decided to spend a weekend at a renowned 5-star hotel. Sarah, the wealthiest of the group, was the one who suggested the idea and invited us all. I was delighted to accept, as I had never been to such an elegant place. Upon arrival, we checked into our rooms. The hotel was everything one could hope for.
That does not look like a 5-star hotel.
Incredible service and breathtaking views. During our first night, as we explored the lobby, I met Andrew, the hotel manager.
Oh,
He was
Andrew.
a charming man with a smile that radiated confidence. Sarah, always ready to flirt, struck up a conversation with him. However, to my surprise, Andrew seemed more interested in me.
Oh,
We didn't talk much more than that, as he
Sarah
had
must
to
be
go back
upset.
to work. But the tension and chemistry between us was so obvious that both Sarah and my friends started teasing me, saying I should ask him out. For the next few days, we enjoyed our vacation, exploring all over the city. But to tell the truth, we were so enchanted with the hotel that we rarely went out. Although my friends kept telling me about Andrew, ask him out on a date. Several days went by, and we were in the last days of our vacation.
I mean, it's a pimp.
We all went to the hotel bar and decided to have a few drinks. I was never a big drinker, so I used to moderate my drinking. That time, I drank really little, but it was kicking in fast. Much faster than I thought it would. I told my friends I was going to go and freshen up a bit, so I left the bar. I wanted to be in a quiet place with no sound, so I went to the patio to get some air. They offered to join me, but I said no. I didn't want to ruin their night. When I went out to the patio, I sat down and tried to relax so that my dizziness would go away. I lay down on the ground and relaxed, closing my eyes and allowing myself to fall asleep. You look like you saw a ghost. Are you okay? Oh, Andrew, I think I've had a bad dream. I don't feel so good. I can tell. You're pale. Have you had a little too much to drink? At that moment, I wanted to answer him, but I was too confused to do so. All I remember from that moment is that Andrew told me he would take me to his room and call my friends. I thought it was a nice gesture from him. And
That's a bad idea.
Completely genuine. Once we got to his room, he put me down on the bed.
Uh-oh.
I felt a little better and was able to stand up, but I was really dizzy and needed to rest. I didn't know what I had taken, but I was really sick. Andrew told me that he would bring out a pill that would make me feel better.
Oh,
Honestly, I thought it would be something for my head.
just taking a dark turn.
Approached the drawer, I noticed something strange in the reflection of the bedroom mirror. A female figure appeared behind Andrew, her face distorted and covered in wounds. It was the same woman I had seen before when she was lying down.
Get out of there!
I struggled and looked directly into the mirror, but saw nothing.
Oh, man, this is terrible. This is a terrible idea.
I saw something. Andrew smiled at me and walked over to me, too close for my comfort. Suddenly, I noticed he was holding something shiny in his hand that wasn't a pill. It was a knife.
What?
What are you doing with that knife, Andrew? Something that'll make you feel better. This
Oh,
isn't funny, Andrew. I want to get out of here. Now, that's not funny. What would be fun if I let you go? After making such an effort to get you to take that little pill in your drink.
oh man.
I just want to have a little fun with you. I want to see what you look like on the inside.
Oh,
The man
no.
had no problem with me knowing his intentions. I tried to run for the door in desperation, but I fell and hurt my head. I managed to stand up again and noticed that Andrew was making no effort to catch me. As I tried to open the door, I noticed that it was locked. Andrew had locked it while I was distracted.
Well, it probably locks from the
Laughing,
inside,
the
so.
psycho walked towards me with his knife, and I tried to dodge him, but I fell back to the ground to defend myself. I was still very dizzy, and Andrew noticed.
Uh-oh.
Knowing how helpless I was, the man took his time walking towards me. I was about to die, and he was enjoying every second of psychological torture he could give me. It was like a cat playing with
He's
a mouse
just crawling to her.
I tried to stand
Kick him in
up,
the face.
but I fell to the ground.
How many times are you gonna fall?
The pill I took, I was losing blood from the blow. It was going to be impossible to escape.
Oh my, why is he
or
crawling like a
even defend
weirdo?
myself.
Kick him.
Once he reached my side,
And he's got that weird look
pushed
on
me
his face.
and began to run the knife across my body, grazing it without applying pressure.
Uh-oh.
The knife was cold and sharp. I couldn't die there. I had to do something.
Yeah.
I gathered all my energy, and all I managed to do was to give him a weak punch in the face. Not only did he not seem affected, he seemed to enjoy the fact that I still had some fight left in me.
Oh, boy.
Happy and smiling, Andrew
Look at him.
raised the knife
Look at
to
him.
stab me. I couldn't even close my eyes. I could only see the knife coming towards me. Suddenly, to both Andrew's and my surprise, he froze, as if something had stopped him in his tracks. His face turned to panic as he began to choke for no apparent reason.
Uh-oh.
I could see Andrew's
Me.
neck tighten on it.
Yes.
Someone invisible was choking him.
Oh.
I seized the opportunity.
girl in the
and walked to
mirror.
the door trying to open it again. I knew it was still locked, but I still felt an impulse to open it. To my surprise, it was open. When I opened the door, I found two men running desperately towards me.
Oh, boy.
These men saw what was happening and grabbed Andrew just as he started to move again. The men looked at me confused and frightened. At that moment, as if retaking the effect of the pill they had given me before, I closed my eyes. I don't remember anything else about it. The police officer told me that Andrew had been arrested for attempted murder.
Yeah.
But the truth soon came out. Andrew was convicted of murder.
Ooh.
The victim, a young woman, was seduced and murdered by Andrew in his office, just as he tried to do to me. When I saw the photos of the woman, I recognized
She looked like a ghost in the photos?
She was the ghost who was with me at the hotel. She never tried to hurt me. She just wanted to get me away from that room. Even after she died, she didn't want me to suffer like her.
Oh,
She didn't
damn.
want my life to end up in the hands of that psychopath. When I went back to gather the things from my suitcase, I found the man who held Andrew. The first thing I did was to thank him. But then, they said something that filled me with surprise. You know, that day, we were supposed to guard someone else. But something made us go to that room as if we were hypnotized. Suddenly, we were behind that door. I admit that when I heard that, I froze for a moment. But seconds later, I felt relief. I knew what had happened. And I'm sorry that no one had helped that girl as she had helped me.
Oh, story 2's got to be crazy.
This incident happened in 2011.
Okay.
I had just gotten married, and my wife, Veronica, and me were getting ready to go on our honeymoon.
Oh, so this happens to the guy
We were planning to go
now.
to my beach house in Florida. We lived in Georgia, so this is supposed to be just a 6-hour drive. However, what ended up happening would scar me for life.
Uh-oh.
We started our drive to Florida at 7 p.m., so we would get there about 1 in the morning. While we were driving, we were having a lot of fun during the car ride.
Get there at 1 in the
We
morning.
were joking with each other, doing karaoke in the car, you know, the kinds of stuff you would do on a road trip.
I thought you were going to go a different direction for a second there.
We noticed we got a flat tire. I stopped to get out of the car and see what had happened.
Oh, boy.
On the road, there was a broken bottle with glass all over.
It looks like several broken
We must
bottles.
have ran over it, causing the flat tire. Now we were stuck on the road, in the middle of nowhere, with
Yeah.
no phone service.
Change the tire?
What do we do now? My wife said. I don't know. Hopefully there's a building nearby so we can ask for help, I said. We began walking, trying to find somewhere we could ask for help. The problem was, now it was midnight.
Uh-oh.
So there was a good chance that if we did find a building, it would be closed. After about 15 or 20 minutes of walking, we saw a hotel.
Oh, here we go.
We talked it over and eventually came to the conclusion that it would probably be a better idea to stay the night at the hotel and ask for help in the morning.
Sure.
When we went into the hotel, we were greeted by the owner. His name was Mr. Nicholas, and he was friendly. A little too friendly, in my opinion.
Oh, boy.
He showed us to our rooms, which didn't look all that bad, all things considered. The room was clean. There were no roaches or bugs or anything. We thanked the owner, and then he left while we got settled in our room.
You left the hotel?
Oh my God, they even have room service, my wife said. She asked if I wanted anything, and I said to give me something just in case. She ordered us both 2 chicken noodle soups. When our food came, I opened the door to find the owner with the food. It was then I got a little bit suspicious.
You know, I was just Campbell's chicken noodle soup. That guy didn't actually make that.
That my wife and I haven't seen any other employees. But I decided to let it slide.
He probably just runs it by himself.
I went back into the room. When I came back in with the soup, Veronica immediately started eating as she hadn't eaten anything for a few hours.
It's like tomato soup.
I didn't want to eat anything right then. I just wanted to go to sleep and for it to be morning. So I asked my wife if she wanted my bowl of soup, and she said she did. We both went to sleep immediately. I woke up a few hours later at 5 a.m. I could hear movement around the room, but I couldn't
here we
see
go
anything,
again.
as it was still dark. I was trying to see what was making that noise, when suddenly I heard a whisper.
It was the owner.
How are you still awake? I immediately got up to try and find my phone to use the flashlight, when suddenly I got punched in the face, making me land on the floor.
Oh,
hard.
damn.
He tried to choke me to death, but I was able to get him off of me and punched him in the face, making him stunned a little.
Oh, wow, okay.
I tried to wake Veronica up.
It's like a boxing match.
She wasn't moving.
Oh,
I
no.
didn't think she was breathing. The man got back up and pushed me into a wall, making me really dizzy. Then I heard the voice again. But
Are you awake?
this time, I recognized it. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Did you not eat the soup? I recognized that voice.
That girl ate both.
Then I thought,
She's
to
sleeping
myself,
for days.
Did he put something in the soup? I tried to find either the light switch or my phone so I could use the flashlight on it.
This guy must have night vision.
Meanwhile, I was hearing noises, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Finally, I found the light switch. When I turned the light on, I saw something that would scar me for the rest of my life. What I saw was Mr. Nicholas had stabbed my wife with a knife in the neck. If she wasn't dead before, she was definitely dead now.
What?
I was so angry that I ran up and punched him so hard that it knocked him out instantly. I grabbed the knife to stab Mr. Nicholas and kill him. But then, I didn't do it. Because if I did do it, not only would he not get justice, but also I would go to jail and ruin my life even more.
No, self-defense.
Instead, I dropped the knife and called the cops. And went to the comfort of my wife.
My God. This door is dark.
To arrest Mr. Nicholas, and an ambulance came for my wife. But I already knew she was dead.
Oh, because that stupid flat
The
tire.
next morning, the cops came and told me what had happened.
He's putting beer bottles out there.
Mr. Nicholas was a serial killer.
Oh.
In the hotel that he was the owner of.
What's this, the base motel?
The building he just fixed up.
The base motel.
Which would explain why there were no other employees.
Oh.
According to the cops,
Look at him.
Mr. Nicholas would
Little
lure
tree hugger.
visitors in by putting broken beer bottles at the side of the road, so men and women wouldn't
I
have a
called
choice
it.
but to look for someone to help them, which would explain how we got our flat tire.
Mm.
And finally, the soup, which, according to the cops, had crushed up sleeping pills in it. And you want to know the really fucked up part?
Watch your language.
Since I gave Veronica my soup, she ended up overdosing on sleeping pills. She didn't even get killed by the owner stabbing her. She was already dead by then.
Oh, boy.
But the story doesn't end there.
Oh.
Because you know how earlier I said I didn't kill Mr. Nicholas because I wanted him to get justice? Well, that didn't matter anyway, since he ended up killing himself before he even went to court.
Well,
it's been
sounds like
nearly
justice.
15 years, and while I feel a little better, I still feel guilty.
Mm.
I'm obviously still going to therapy for this incident, and I haven't met anyone since Veronica.
Probably hasn't eaten chicken noodle
And
soup
it will
either.
probably be even longer. I don't need anyone else.
Oh,
There's
man.
one lesson to be learned from this. If you have a feeling in your gut that something feels wrong, trust it.
Okay. Story 3. What's up? This one's not as dark.
I may have been born, but this story takes place in Quito, Ecuador. My friends, Maria, Lisa, Anna, Sophia, and I
Oh,
were
boy.
ready to escape our hectic lives and enjoy a well-deserved vacation.
Another
We
group
had
of girls.
spent weeks planning our trip, eagerly anticipating the sights and experiences that awaited us in this beautiful South American city.
Yeah.
After a long flight, we were eager to settle into our hotel. Not gonna lie, it was small, but it was cozy. Something of that hotel felt like home.
Okay.
As we landed in Quito, we were really excited. However, our expectations were about to take a bizarre turn.
Ooh.
At the hotel entrance, we were not greeted by the friendly staff we had imagined, but by a tall, broad-shouldered man
Oh, boy.
named Leslie.
You better not be the only
With a
one.
mix of excitement and a hint of unease, we checked in and trusted the seemingly kind manager. But soon, an eerie silence engulfed the atmosphere,
Oh,
making us uneasy.
here.
Ignoring our instincts, we attributed it to exhaustion and continued.
That's
our
what
day.
it is.
Leslie's welcome
Exhaustion.
momentarily eased our unease, and we settled into our rooms, tired from our long journey. We were ready to enjoy Quito the next day.
I bet you
but
are.
That was never going to happen.
No?
That night, I woke up to a strange noise.
Oh, no.
My heart raced as I
Duh.
saw Leslie quietly entering our room.
There he is.
He moved swiftly, grabbing Maria and Anna.
Yeah, he just goes right for the
My
kill.
first and only reaction was to scream. I screamed as loud as I could, hoping to
Oh, he
wake the
just-
people in the hotel.
he just went right for it.
But something strange was happening. No matter how loud I screamed, no one came, nor did my friends wake up.
Oh, no, he killed them already.
Leslie, on the other hand, did react to the scream.
Look at his red eyes.
He was furious.
Oh, no.
The man let go of my friends, who hit their heads on the floor without waking up.
Uh-oh.
As I tried to
He's a strong
rationalize
man.
what was happening, the man walked toward me slowly, as if he were an animal trying to intimidate and enclose his prey. I grabbed a candlestick
Oh,
next
she
to
got the
me and
candlestick.
threatened him, but he didn't back down in the slightest. He
'Cause
even
there's a candlestick.
seemed more motivated to attack me. At that moment, my life flashed before my eyes. I knew that I had to do something,
Yeah.
anything, or I would die for sure. Or not. Something much worse than death could happen to me. If this man kidnapped me, I didn't know what things could happen to me. Terrified by this thought that didn't last more than a second, I rushed towards the man and attacked him with a candlestick.
Oh.
But Leslie grabbed my hand
Ah.
very easily and I dropped it. Then the man put a handkerchief on my face for a second. I
Uh-oh.
managed to
Night-night.
breathe on him, but before he could do anything else to me, I hit him in the crotch.
Oh, that's the
If
killer
only
right
for a
there.
few seconds. I used those seconds
Man, his
to
mouth turned
run
green.
as fast as I could. I ran away from the man, ignoring my friends who were still asleep. I
Or
left the hotel
dead.
room and ran as fast as I
You
could.
left your friends?
As I ran, I saw the man behind me. He was walking with difficulty. He was going very slow.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
still, he was approaching me. Was he going that fast? It was at that precise moment that I realized something terrifying. He wasn't going faster. I
You're going slower.
was going slower.
Oh, no.
I began to feel very tired. My eyes began to feel heavy, and my knees became very weak. What was happening to me?
Chloroform.
My thoughts were getting blurry. I was fainting.
Right.
I fell to the ground, falling asleep. All I could do was look at the man walking towards me with difficulty. but
Oh, no.
furious. Hours later, I woke up in a state of confusion.
Oh, boy.
My heart
Tied to the
was
chair?
pounding as I realized I was no longer in our room. Panic set in as I found myself tied to a chair in a dim, cold basement.
Oh,
My friends were next to me,
oh no.
facing the same horror. I tried to remember how we got to the basement, but nothing added up. The last thing I remembered was Leslie overpowering me.
Damn you,
Then I
Leslie.
heard a malicious laughter coming from outside the door.
Oh,
I
what a
looked
creep.
over to my friends, and they confirmed that they heard it too.
They're just trying to be on vacation. What are we doing here, guy?
We cried out, struggling to break free from our restraints,
Man,
but hope seemed far away.
I guess the customer's not always
The door
right.
creaked open.
Oh, there he is. Oh, Leslie. He's missing a tooth.
A twisted grin on his face. He circled us, his eyes gleaming with sadistic delight.
Welcome to my little show. I've been waiting for guests like you.
Oh, I bet
He
you have
grabbed
been.
Sophia and dragged her to the center of the room.
Was she
Screamed and
unconscious?
Pleaded, but he ignored us. What do you want? Please, let us go. I have people waiting for me at home. My parents, my nieces and nephews,
Uh
my
huh.
boyfriend, my pets.
Not the boyfriend.
I can't just disappear. Please, let me go.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. In that case, I'll consider letting you go.
Really?
Yeah.
Suddenly, Leslie turned around with a small knife that none of us saw him pull out and plunged it into her leg.
Her leg?
Sophia was bleeding and crying desperately. That tiny bit of hope in her face she had for a few seconds was gone. We all saw ourselves reflected in her. From one moment to the next,
Her eyes are going
she felt like
crazy.
a dead
Look at her.
Then Leslie played with his knife, running it along Sophia's cheek. She whimpered, tears streaming down her face.
You see, it's all about the thrill. The fear in your eyes, the helplessness. She's got a lot to lose, and I'm not going to lie to you, it drives me crazy.
No.
Ooh.
You psycho.
I don't think Leslie cares.
Oh, girl, you have no idea of the extent of your words. You're in for a beautiful night.
After that, he tortured Sophia, cutting her slowly, enjoying her pain. We
What
were
is this?
forced to watch, unable to do anything.
This is
Her
dark.
screams filled the basement, each one a dagger in our hearts. Before long, that friend we knew was reduced to pieces of human flesh. The man definitely focused on her face in order to make her unrecognizable.
Yeah.
It was at that moment that I could see everything more clearly.
What's he got? Beads?
All my friends were crying and
Using
screaming
beads?
in terror,
Tie you down?
feeling Sophia's pain in anticipation that it would soon happen to them. I couldn't afford to do the same. Somehow, I had to escape. I tried to free myself from the rope on my hands and feet. The one on my feet were very hard, and the one on my hands too, but not that hard. I started to force with my hands. I had to get out no matter what. My right wrist was burning too much. The friction was cutting it, but I was pulling it out. Suddenly, I could pull it out, and I quickly started to untie the other one. Meanwhile, Leslie was still torturing my friend. After a while, he ended her suffering, and Sophia slumped lifeless to the floor.
Okay.
The room was filled with her blood and
Yep.
our sobs.
This is
Leslie turned back to us,
really dark.
wiping the knife clean.
That was fun. Who's next?
I immediately realized that I was next. The man walked towards me,
Does
slowly,
he see you untied?
as if provoking me. He began to subtly run the small knife across my face, barely grazing it. That's when I had to act. Taking advantage of the fact that he wasn't holding it too tightly, I quickly pulled it out and stuck it in his leg. The man fell to the ground, wounded and screaming in pain. I used that same
It hurts,
knife
doesn't
to
it?
free my legs. I was about to save my friends, but this was very dangerous. Leslie could recover and attack me again. Knowing this was a possibility, I jumped at Leslie before he could recover. I stabbed him again, and I did it again and again. I stabbed him in the chest and head as many times as I could. I stabbed him more than he stabbed Sophie. My friends were cheering me on at first, but after a while, I realized I had to stop because even they were scared, and the room was silent. As soon as I finished with Leslie, I ran to them and released them. Even though we knew it was impossible for Leslie to chase us,
What's up with the eyes?
we ran as fast as we could, absolutely terrified. We stumbled through the dark corridors, hearts pounding. In the middle, the small hotel was empty, as if Leslie was the only one in charge of taking care of it at those times. Finally, we made our way out the door and kept running until we found a car. Our
Okay.
pleas for help were answered by the driver, who rushed us to the authorities.
Let me
The
guess.
police arrived quickly.
He
at
was
the
a known
hotel.
serial killer too.
To our surprise, we found a few other employees, but none of them heard anything, as they were in the kitchen and on the patio with headphones. When
Sure.
the police arrived in the basement, the image left them absolutely shocked. They had never seen anything like it in their lives. I was arrested. But shortly after, and with the testimony of my friends, I was released,
She would have been arrested.
attributing my crime to an act of self-defense, coupled with the temporary insanity generated by the situation.
Guys, that is the end of the video. That was a little crazy, a little dark, you know. A little dark for me, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like the video. I mean, it helps me out a lot. And subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.